In this video, I want to take you through some of the DevSecOps resources that we have here. I'm going to click on a few of them and just take you through, but there's quite a lot of them, so I won't go through all of them. This is the Python cheat sheet, which if you download it, comes up like this. And if you do write Python, this is a really useful sheet. It's a really useful cheat sheet. It goes through just about everything you need to know in Python in a quick format that's really quick to look up. Very, very useful. Python, as you probably know, is one of the most useful languages in the cloud. All three clouds support Python use for things like the functions like Azure functions or Lambda functions and so on. So that is always useful. Let's see if I can get to some of these others. So let's show you some of these Git ones. There's a lot of Git ones. Git, as I'm sure you know, is used for source code control repositories. And there's a number of these kind of images that help you to learn easily what each of the Git commands do. Most people in the cloud are going to use GitHub or similar to store their code. Even if you use, the Azure own version of source code control, underneath it, it's Git pretty much. So, you're going to be using Git pretty often in the cloud anyway. And there's a number of these. So let me download a few of them and just show you, but they're pretty similar. This one here. Git push. They're cartoon-like, they're easy, but they make it easy to remember what all these all these commands do, and so on. Then there's some stuff about Terraform and Terraform Grunt. Just let me go through what that is. Terraform is infrastructure as code, and there are best practices in how to do infrastructure as code. Now, what infrastructure as code is pretty much using templates to declare what your infrastructure should look like. And the templates, you pass parameters, and those parameters are used to set up the infrastructure. For example, you might set up a firewall with port 80 open. So 80 might be the parameter to the firewall Terraform file. So typically a Terraform file is going to end in .tf. So firewall.tf, you'd call it with the parameter 80 to say it open port 80 or something like that. That's kind of what Terraform is. And Terraform can be really extensive. You can use it for the whole of your architecture, the whole of your cloud architecture. You can use it for subsets of it, but really best practices is to use Terraform for everything and not to do anything at the command line or at the console, because that can override what you've done in your Terraform, and then everything gets out of sync and the state file gets out of sync and so on. But there's some information in these files about all of that. And then there's some stuff about DevOps tools that you might want to use and the DevOps roadmap and so on. So hopefully that gives you an idea. There's a lot of stuff in this section in DevSecOps. We cover a lot of stuff about containers, microservices, Kubernetes as well. There's a lot of information there. In the cloud, pretty much if you write code, you're either going to be writing a function or you're going to write a container. The container, typically, you would use that either for the front end or for the microservice part of your code. And containers are usually orchestrated somehow. Kubernetes is a very popular way of orchestrating those containers. So just wanted to go through that so you know what that is. Okay, so make sure you look at all these resources. There's a lot of stuff in there. If we look at the testing side of things here, there's a really long PowerPoint here, a unified approach to testing. It goes through all of the different types of testing. So right from unit testing, integration testing, system testing, even security testing, so many types of testing, penetration tests, that kind of thing. So I definitely recommend you look at that. It particularly relates to how you do it in the cloud. And then I'm adding in a few videos of how to run unit tests and how to do unit tests with XUnit and NUnit and things like that. These are actually .NET and C# based, but it's very similar for Java as well. So hopefully that will be useful to you. The microservices section, which is going to come up as a video, which I don't want to play right now. This is a video about microservices, right from, what is a microservice, the basics, and then there's a couple of extra articles in the resources which go on to talk about the orchestration part. Here we go. Let's download that. And that will come up in here. So in here, there's a whole lot of stuff about how to do orchestration. Where are we? In here, and how that works. And I did this presentation with a friend of mine who has written a book. His name's Chandra, and his book on cloud-based microservices is very good. So I highly recommend that. Okay, so that's available in the resources too. And Docker in the cloud, as I said, Docker is the way that most people implement microservices in the cloud. And then Docker can be orchestrated using Kubernetes and so on. So I've got some resources in here. Actually, the resources are in here about Kubernetes and how to use that. So don't miss all of those resources, and good luck with your DevSecOps learning here. Thank you.